Some common nades on cache. Many of these old hats, some of them slightly adjusted for the newer version of cache. So smoke CT mid, we're going to jump through when we get to this white paint. Out here. And you'll see that will land perfectly to give a smoke of mid. A lurk smoke, you're going to throw to the right of this. This one lining up here gives a bad lineup, so we want to be something like that. Make sure we have good coverage. Bounce the flash. And we can make our way out mid. So that's going to give reasonable coverage from both sides. You want to time it so your smoke goes off before you go out. CT side of mid. Very easy to figure out how to smoke it off properly. Make sure you want your smoke inside, not bleeding outside, so you have an advantage. If you're running and you're mollying, that is a good molly because it will often go down here as well. It will often cover this also. Basically anywhere along this rail, even here, if you aim about here, jump throw, would be good for a molly. They won't always go down to the bottom. You don't want to do a specific lineup because you need to do it fast. So that will do plenty. There's an example of it in that position. If you're close in mid, a very nasty grenade is lined up with this dot right to the, well, I say to the right of my crosshair here. Jump throw. See how deep that goes. Molly as well. Good for some harassment from that position. Now going from mid to A, let's look at some retake smoke since we're in this position already. This one, you line up this with this. You want to aim at the bottom of this pallet. Aim at the top and you will hit this bar. So aim at the bottom and jump throw. We can see that will give us enough of a cover for us to make our plate if we get rid of that smoke. And do one from here. Hopefully not showing to A main. If we line up this with that pole, aim here. Jump throw. Bounce off shroud and... oh, I've done it wrong. Oh well. Actually, it was right. Anyway, we'll do it again. So, roughly these two in line. Top of that rail. Jump throw. There we go. It's gone in a bit cleaner this time. Tidy enough smoke. You need to be aware if you're playing this that many of the smokes people throw for main will leave you exposed if a T chooses to stand on these lockers, even if they're higher than this, so be aware of that. We adjust it to be a little less deep. So, two smokes, the slower one hopping up here to that position. It will give us a tidy smoke, and there is a faster one which will expose you doing a jump throw out here. So if it's more urgent, then that is an option as well. If you want to smoke this position, I wouldn't have a too specific lineup. I'd show one of these two barrels here and then just do a rough smoke like that. You want to do it deep enough. Okay, that one's too deep because it's left a gap here, which will fade. You want to do it deep enough where most of the volume is in the way of the CTs and not allowing them to lurk out. So you do want to take a few steps and try that again from back here. There we go. Much better. Further back the better, because you'll be less likely to be like accidentally expose yourself to somebody on the bomb site. Moving over to B. This is quite useful as a lineup. So here, just above, you're going to take 2 steps. And that's going to be smoking off the CT position, so they can't peek you. Then you can throw a molly from here. For that spot, If you've got a CT sometimes playing forward here, then if someone's holding the angle for you, to throw that HE. If there's a CT there, it'll glide with them and that'll give a sound cue away. What's cool about this smoke as well is that you can sometimes lurk through it. If you're always baiting a CT or a CT is just playing checkers for whatever reason, then you might get a jump on somebody else. If you understand if they're playing sight, if they're playing up here, then maybe you can get a weird angle. So some other advantages in this position. In terms of retake smokes, you can get here, then 1, 2, this line. We'll smoke that position. This is crouching, by the way, and just here. Aiming here, basically. Will give you a smoke for this position, which can be lurked out of. This used to be easier to smoke because there was a big chunk of metal sticking out on CSGO cache, which doesn't seem to exist here. And this box feels a little longer than it was. So that's the best one I found thus far for that position. So those are some quick and dirty grenades which are mega useful to know on cache.